Okay, then this is something I am so excited about. Like, I could burst right here and now because I'm so excited to be talking about this. I found a new favorite time travel book. I am too excited. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Leora and I talk on here about books and writing, sometimes other stuff as well. And today I'm doing another recent favorite reads video where I usually just talk about some things I've recently read and whether I like them, and then I also share some new favorites if I have any, stuff like that. I usually try to do these videos every now and then also do a wrap up every now and then if I've read particularly much. So I've come down from my slightly feral reading mood that I had last month where I read 22 books. I still don't know what happened. It's just a lot of books. If you still haven't watched my May wrap-up where I discuss all of the 22 books, then I highly encourage you to check it out because I love that video. And yeah, for today, I'm going to be talking about 5 of the books I've read recently, and 2 of them are big new favorites. So I'm really excited to be sharing this with you. Hi everyone, before we get on with the rest of the video, let's hear a word from today's sponsor, which is Book of the Month. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring my content and enabling me to keep creating stuff on here for you guys. So Book of the Month is a very popular and constantly growing online book service for readers based in the US. It is their mission to promote new and emerging authors and to help you discover the books that you love. Their team goes through many new releases and debuts and makes a curated selection of books that you can pick from. They feature 5 to 7 reads each month, and this month there are 5 selections. It's a wonderful system because you can spend less time researching and more time actually reading. I'm always very excited to be working with Book of the Month again, as they always have a great selection of books to choose from, and you can skip any time, any month and not be charged. As you all know, I love a good podcast, especially a bookish podcast, and I've recently discovered that Book of the Month have their own podcast called The Virtual Book Tour, and it's really cool because they discuss their own selections and they have interviews with the authors. It's held in front of a live audience, which is also really fun. I've listened to a few episodes. I listened to the episode on Woman of Light this morning, and the whole story about like family diversity and the tea leaf readers and the whole setting of the book, the Western, all very interesting. I'm so excited to dive into that book now, even more so. They also have a mini-series which is called Book of the Month Briefs, and it's like short stories by authors we know and love, such as Helen Huang. I've listened to that this morning as well. Very exciting. I really enjoyed it. So that's also something Book of the Month does. But next to that, they also have the best price for new release hardcover fiction. You can get your first book for only $9.99 using my code Leora. So this month there are 5 reads, and I've chosen 2 of them to discuss with you today. First, we have a romance called The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This is a romance novel about a secret agent who's hired to protect a famous superstar from his stalker, and it seems like a very fun, witty novel. I love a good secret agent romance thing. And then, oh my god, I am so excited about this. This is Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, who's one of my favorite authors from my childhood. I was obsessed with one of her other books. This is a literary fiction novel, and it's about 2 friends. They develop a video game and it becomes very successful, and it's all about friendship, coming of age, and the influence the online world has on us. So very relevant and cool themes. First time members can sign up with any book they like, including the add-ons, so don't forget to head on over to bookofthemonth.com and use my code Leora to get your first book for only $9.99. And also don't forget to check out Book of the Month's podcasts. They're really fun. So thank you so much again to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video, and let's now get back to the rest of my video. So firstly, I've read Crusade in Jeans again last month, which is wonderful because as a child, I was obsessed with this book, which is a little bit concerning, to be honest, because so much death occurs in this book. Like, a ridiculous amount of death is happening in this book. Every page, I think at least 5 children die, and that is not an exaggeration of any sort. Like, it's literally not. This is a time travel book. Obviously. It's about a boy whose parents work in a scientist's laboratory or something, and there's these scientists there that are working on a time machine, and he gets to take a look at it on his Christmas break, and then he gets the scientists convinced that they have to send him back to the past so he can look at like some knights in the Middle Ages. He just wants to see a tournament or something of the sort. This was written in the 70s, and I think it's set also around that time. So he travels from the 70s back to the 1200s, and then poor guy, he can't get back to the present anymore, and he has to start living in the Middle Ages, which is of course really difficult, and he stumbles upon this children's crusade. Yeah, he joins them, makes them better as a group, and he learns a lot about faith, but also about the horrible things that humanity does. This book, although it has loads of Christian themes and like Christian happenings, I guess, because it's about a crusade, but it's not super religious. I mean, it is religious, but this book doesn't say like, oh my god, religion, the best thing ever. It's very critical of it, and it's mostly just very critical of humankind in general, which is really interesting. It was really gruesome though, and I didn't always feel like it had a point, the gruesomeness. I've also heard people say that the translation to English is not really great because the original is Dutch. It's called Kruistocht in Spijkerbroek. And yeah, I am slightly upset that this is a children's book because it's just so gross and gruesome, and I can imagine this has traumatized a lot of children, maybe myself included a little bit, even though I adored it as a child and I still loved reading it. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this book. Like, would I give it to my child if I had a child? I don't know, but I did enjoy reading it, and yeah, I had a good time. Then another book I finished this month, which I'm really excited about because I've had this book for such a long time and I just kept not reading it, and I really needed to read it, so I'm excited I picked it up. And that is Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer. I don't have to dust check it anymore because I didn't like it and then I threw it away, which is, I should have kept it, but I didn't. Also, total side tangent, but it's so dark outside today. Like, it's been the most beautiful weather for the last few days. Like, literally, like, summer weather, like, go to the beach, and now it's, like, raining and pouring as if it's autumn again. I'm not upset about it, to be honest, because I like autumn, but I also like summer, so I hope the sun comes back. I should really stop having, like, tangents about the weather in the middle of my videos, because if you're watching this in, like, any other month, it's so irrelevant, and it's so irrelevant anyway, because I'm not the weatherman. Anyway, so I read this during a 42-hour readathon, I wanted to say. That is a lot of hours. I read this during a 24-hour readathon. I did one with my friend, but we also vlogged it. I still have to edit my vlog. I've been a little bit disorganized recently, so I haven't edited the vlog yet. I really want to because I think it's such a fun and cozy vlog, but I know that Britt has already uploaded her video of us like spending 24 hours together and reading a bunch of books. So you should definitely check out her video if you want to. And yes, mine will be coming. I just do not know when. So I picked up this book during that time and I read the entire thing. So I tried to focus on like one book for the readathon. So I tried to focus on one book for this readathon because most of the time I try to read like as many books as possible. And now I was like, can I actually read like a full-length novel if I really put my mind to it? So that's what I did. This is an enemies to lovers, gay witches, coven, war, serial killer set in Ireland novel. But that's a lot of themes and things that happen in this book. So we have two main characters, Minor and Dana, and they are both like opposing covens, and there's a lot of tension between their covens, and it's all set in this like small quaint town in Ireland. It's a very religious town. Dana has just come out as bisexual, but not by her own will, and it's a bit of a struggle for her. She's also a witch. She's in a coven. She's got to hide that from her dad, who's the actual reverend. And then she develops like a thing for Minor, but she's the daughter of the opposing coven. And then there's also a serial killer on the loose. So there's lots of things running amok in this novel. It was a lot more horror-esque than I thought it would be. It was kind of scary at certain points. Like, I was freaked out. There was like some blood and lots of like gross things happening. Didn't expect that because it is YA, so I thought it would be a little bit more like mild, and it wasn't at all. It was quite like gruesome at certain points, but I definitely liked it. The atmosphere was so good, especially the atmosphere of like the house that they spend a lot of time in with the coven was so wonderful, like so cozy and just amazing vibes, and I really loved this book. So if you want a book about female covens and witches and gay tension, enemies to lovers, highly recommend. Loved it. Then this is the one book this month I gave 3 stars because it wasn't my favorite thing ever, but I still enjoyed it, so I want to talk about it. This is Everything You Ever Wanted by Louisa Salma. It's such a weird book. I've talked about it before in my vlog, and then I was still reading it, and now I've read the whole thing, so I can give maybe like a more well-rounded opinion of it, but it's just so strange. It was a very strange read. I would definitely say trigger warnings for being suicidal and also depression, because both are discussed heavily in this novel. We follow Iris, and Iris does not see the point of life anymore. She's like, there's no meaning to it. I bring nothing to the table. Why am I still here? She kind of wants to die, but she also feels like attempting to die is kind of pointless as well. Like, everything is pointless to Iris. And this is told in sort of a slightly humorous way, so that made it so like bearable to me, because it was definitely very funny and it reminded me a little bit of Dolly Alderton every now and then. But then there's also the depressing part, and she's very sad, she's very cynical, she's really struggling. And that is definitely sometimes difficult to read. On top of all this, there's a sci-fi element, because Iris applies to this program to be living in space, and if she gets through, she can live in space. And you already know at the start of the novel that Iris is going to be ending up on a different planet, living there and being actually happy. So it's a very interesting premise, and it's like a sort of interesting point of view to start the story from. A lot of the story is set on Earth, but then the rest of the story is set in this like new society on the different planet, which is called Nyx. But of course on Nyx there's also some things going horribly wrong, and things are not the way they seem. And yes, very interesting story about being connected in modern society, about our use of social media as well, about sort of the facade we put up. It had a lot of interesting themes. Like, whilst reading this, I really noticed that I'm used to like normal sci-fi, which is really about exploring like that new society and the new planet, and that was not the focus point of this novel, and that left me kind of disappointed, because that is what I want out of a sci-fi story. Like, that is exciting to me, and that didn't really happen in this, because I think also the largest part of this story is actually just set on Earth. But still, an interesting read. Okay, then this is something I am so excited about. Like, I could burst right here and now, because I'm so excited to be talking about this. I found a new favourite time travel book. I am too excited. It seems fake. It is just so exciting to have found a book that sort of has that Ruby Red time travel trilogy energy, and this definitely has it, and I'm just so excited because this is what I want. This is what I want in life and in fiction. This is a YA fantasy. It's called Only a Monster, and it's by Vanessa Lynn, and this is about Joan, who gets sent to her grandmother's family in London every summer, and she's having a great time in London. Her family's a bit eccentric and weird, but like, she loves London. She has this amazing job at a museum. She's having a wonderful time. She's got this crush on a guy at her work, and then he actually asks her out on a date, and they're going out on a date, and she's having a wonderful time. But then all of a sudden she travels in time, and she's got no clue what happened. She runs back home. Turns out her family can all time travel, and it's this whole thing, and she didn't know. And that is where the story starts, and it's very exciting. It's about monsters. It's about who is right and who's wrong, like morally grey characters. So interesting. Lots of time travel in the 90s, which was really cool because it's not something you see very often. I'm so excited for the next part in this series. Like, I am beyond excited. I really, really, really hope they're going to travel back further in time. So like, I don't know, the Roman Empire or something. That would be really exciting to me. Or maybe they can go to like some balls. I don't know. I just want them to travel like further back in time. That would be cool. Anyway, I loved this, adored it. I also thought all the characters were so likable but interesting, and it was very funny, lots of banter. It had everything I like. And then this is the book I'm still reading right now. It's got lots of tabs. I'm doing some annotating again. I'm also obsessed with this book, and it's just, I don't know how I have so many books this month that I really liked, but it's nice to come down from like this extreme reading month into a month where I focused on some books I loved, but like not too many books. I just took the time to like devour these. I'm not going to finish this month because it's the last day of June as I'm filming this, and I'm on page 444, so I still have a bit to go. So this is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, and this book is lots of things at the same time, but mostly I want to tell you guys that this is the most atmospheric thing, which is big coming from me because, as you know, I call every book atmospheric, but this is really atmospheric. So it's set in 1882. It's basically about this school for special children with special abilities, but most of them have like sort of spooky abilities. It's set in England, Scotland, and also some parts in America, but of course it's all the Victorian era. Such cool settings as well, like an old circus, a scary school on top of a mountain, like an old monastery, like very cool locations. So these children all get found and get sent to Carndale, which is this school in Scotland, in an old monastery. We focus on like different characters throughout the story. So we focus on some of the talents, which are the children that have special powers, and like how they came to be. And we also focus on the lady that is sort of sourcing the talents and finding them, like the agents that are finding them out on the field. So different characters, all very interesting. This book has made me feel so many things already because like, I just feel for all of the characters, like especially the young children. I'm growing so attached to them, but that's also because I'm spending so much pages and like time with him. Alice, who is finding the children, is also one of my favorite characters. She's got like real detective vibes. She's so sassy and funny. And Ribs, who is one of the talents, is also so funny and cool and like the comic relief, and I love her. And yes, I adore this book. I can't wait to finish it and give you my full thoughts and like full review. So those were some of my recent reads and some of my favorites that I've recently read. I'm really excited about most of these books, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. Definitely let me know in the comments down below, what have you been reading recently? Is there anything you've really enjoyed? And yeah, if you don't know what to comment, just leave a nice sunshine emoji because it's summer, of course. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you again in my next video, hopefully. Oh, and also I want to say thank you for 27k, because that is wild, and I'm so happy that all of you are here and watching my videos, and I'm just really excited about it. Okay, bye guys!